Gold smuggling exposed. Traoré stops secret flight with massive treasure. You won't believe what was found on this secret flight. 17 suitcases packed with gold, and Traoré stopped it just in time. This isn't a movie plot. Captain Traoré just intercepted a plane smuggling Africa's wealth right under our noses. While the world was distracted, Traoré uncovered a gold smuggling operation worth millions. Watch how he did it. What happens when a bold African leader says no to theft? Traoré's move just shook the global elite. One flight, 17 suitcases, and one fearless leader. Traoré just rewrote the rules on Africa's stolen resources. Breaking news. Captain Ibrahim Traoré has intercepted a secret flight carrying 17 suitcases of gold, exposing a major gold smuggling operation that could have cost Burkina Faso millions. This bold move has sent shockwaves through West Africa and beyond, as the young leader continues his mission to reclaim Africa's stolen resources and fight foreign exploitation. In this video, we uncover how Traoré stopped the flight, who is suspected to be behind the smuggling, the implications for Burkina Faso's economy and Africa's independence, what this means for resource control in Africa. Africa is rising, and Captain Traoré is leading the charge for sovereignty, justice, and economic liberation. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates on Africa's new revolutionaries. How Traoré stopped the flight. The phrase, "how Traoré stopped the flight," likely refers to Captain Ibrahim Traoré's efforts to curb the illicit smuggling of Burkina Faso's resources, particularly gold, which has been a significant issue in the country's mining sector. While no specific incident involving a literal flight is detailed in the provided sources, Traoré's policies to combat resource smuggling are well documented. Since taking power in a coup in September 2022, Traoré has implemented measures to regulate Burkina Faso's gold industry, a critical component of the economy. He suspended export permits for small-scale private gold production to address illicit trade and smuggling, which often deprives the state of revenue. Additionally, his administration nationalized 2 gold mines and halted the export of unrefined gold to Europe, redirecting it to a newly inaugurated national gold refinery capable of processing 150 tons annually. These actions aim to retain economic value within Burkina Faso by ensuring local processing and reducing the outflow of unrefined resources, which were often smuggled or sold at undervalued prices to foreign entities. By tightening control over gold exports and prioritizing domestic processing, Traoré has effectively stopped the flight of Burkina Faso's wealth, metaphorically preventing the loss of national resources to foreign hands. Who is suspected to be behind the smuggling? The sources do not explicitly name individuals or groups suspected of gold smuggling in Burkina Faso, but they provide context for understanding the broader dynamics. Historically, foreign companies, particularly those from former colonial powers like France, have dominated Burkina Faso's mining sector, often extracting resources with minimal benefit to the local population. Traoré has accused imperialist powers of exploiting Burkina Faso's wealth, suggesting that foreign entities, including Western corporations, may be complicit in or benefit from illicit resource flows. Additionally, the ongoing jihadist insurgency in the Sahel, which Traoré claims is used as a tool for destabilization by external forces, creates conditions that facilitate smuggling by disrupting state control over resource-rich regions. Some sources hint at Western-backed groups or proxies potentially exacerbating insecurity to maintain access to resources like gold, lithium, and manganese, though no concrete evidence is provided. For instance, a narrative exists among Traoré's supporters that Western powers, frustrated by his anti-imperialist policies, may indirectly support destabilizing activities to undermine his regime. However, these claims remain speculative and lack specific attribution in the sources. The absence of named suspects suggests that Traoré's accusations are more broadly aimed at foreign influence rather than specific actors. Implications for Burkina Faso's economy and Africa's independence. Traoré's leadership has significant implications for Burkina Faso's economy and the broader discourse on African independence. His economic reforms focus on resource nationalism and self-reliance, aiming to break free from colonial-era dependencies. Key initiatives include economic growth and resource control. By nationalizing gold mines, halting unrefined gold exports, and establishing a state-owned mining corporation, SOPAMIB, Traoré has increased state revenue from mineral resources. Burkina Faso's GDP grew from $18.8 billion to $22.1 billion under his leadership, with projections suggesting an average growth rate of 8% from 2025 to 2043, potentially lifting 2.4 million Burkinabés out of poverty by 2043. These reforms channel funds into infrastructure, healthcare, and education, Fostering economic stability. Agricultural and infrastructure development. Traoré has invested in sustainable farming practices and infrastructure projects, such as the Ouagadougou-Donson Airport and rural road upgrades, to boost local economies and reduce dependency on foreign markets. His refusal of Saudi Arabia's offer to build 200 mosques in favor of schools and hospitals underscores his focus on practical development. Regional and global shifts. By aligning with Mali and Niger in the Alliance of Sahel States, AES, and withdrawing from ECOWAS, Traoré has prioritized regional cooperation over Western-dominated frameworks. His pivot to Russia for military and economic partnerships reflects a rejection of traditional Western allies, signaling a broader push for African autonomy. Challenges and risks. Despite economic gains, security challenges persist, with jihadist insurgencies displacing over 2 million people and disrupting governance. Critics argue that Traoré's authoritarian measures, such as forced conscription and repression of dissent, could undermine long-term stability. The exit from ECOWAS and imposition of tariffs may also strain regional trade, potentially offsetting economic gains. For African independence, Traoré's actions resonate as a model of defiance against neo-colonialism. His policies inspire youth across the continent, reigniting Pan-African ideals and challenging leaders to prioritize sovereignty. However, the reliance on Russian partnerships raises questions about trading one form of external influence for another, potentially complicating Africa's quest for true independence. What this means for resource control in Africa. Traoré's approach to resource control has broader implications for Africa, where resource wealth often benefits foreign entities more than local populations. His policies signal a shift toward resource nationalism, which could inspire other nations, reclaiming national wealth. By renegotiating mining contracts and prioritizing local processing, Traoré ensures that Burkina Faso retains a larger share of its resource wealth. This model challenges the historical exploitation by foreign companies, particularly in Francophone Africa, where Francafrique systems have perpetuated economic dependency. Other African nations, such as Mali and Niger, are following suit, forming the AES to collectively assert control over their resources. Inspiring a continental movement, Traoré's rhetoric and actions, amplified by social media, have sparked a continental conversation about resource sovereignty. His influence is evident in countries like Kenya and South Africa, where leaders and youth cite him as a symbol of resistance. This could pressure other governments to renegotiate resource contracts and reduce reliance on Western institutions like the IMF and World Bank. Security and governance challenges. Effective resource control requires stability, which remains elusive in Burkina Faso due to ongoing insurgencies. The spread of extremist violence, potentially exacerbated by foreign interests, underscores the need for robust governance to secure resource-rich regions. Traoré's emphasis on civilian-military cooperation and local defense initiatives aims to address this, but success is uncertain. Global geopolitical shifts. Traoré's alignment with Russia and rejection of Western influence reflect a broader realignment in African geopolitics. While this diversifies partnerships, it risks new dependencies. The challenge for Africa is to leverage resource control without falling into new forms of external manipulation. Africa is rising, and Captain Traoré is leading the charge for sovereignty, justice, and economic liberation. The sentiment that Africa is rising under Traoré's leadership reflects his appeal as a symbol of Pan-Africanism and resistance to neo-colonialism. At 37, Traoré embodies a generational shift, inspiring African youth disillusioned with democracy's failure to deliver jobs, education, and health. His anti-imperialist stance, evoking Sankara's legacy, resonates across the continent, from Nairobi to the African diaspora in the Americas. His speeches, such as those at the AES Summit and Russia-Africa Forum, emphasize unity, food self-sufficiency, and economic independence, galvanizing support for a self-reliant Africa. However, this narrative must be tempered with caution. Traoré's popularity is partly fueled by a digital cult, amplified by AI-generated content and Russian-backed information campaigns, which may exaggerate his achievements. His authoritarian tactics, including repressing journalists and activists, raise concerns about democratic backsliding. The ongoing security crisis, with millions displaced and schools closed, challenges his ability to deliver on promises of justice and liberation. While Traoré's reforms signal economic potential, their sustainability depends on overcoming instability and building inclusive institutions. Traoré's leadership is a double-edged sword, a beacon of hope for African sovereignty and a risky experiment in military rule. His vision of economic liberation and resource control could reshape Africa's trajectory, but only if paired with governance reforms and regional stability. The cry that Africa is rising reflects genuine aspiration, but its realization hinges on navigating the complex interplay of local challenges and global pressures.